Welcome back, everybody, for another AoE2 DE campaign speedrun. And oh boy, here we are. It's into China. I have to have tried this speedrunning at least 100 times. And I wasn't able to get the world record, but I guess I did get the second fastest record, at least that I've seen. It's still not super close to the world record, but you guys will see that this one is kind of a nightmare. It's even harder than Saladin 6 in terms of speedrunning. But of course, all of that aside, let's just jump right into the scenario overview. Alright, here we are in the scenario editor as usual. I'm going to keep this one really short just because this speedrun is very, very long. So I'll be having plenty of time to talk things over, but still, just to give you guys an overview of the map before we really jump in, you start, of course, with your 10 units over here to the north of the map. Gonna go grab the transport, and then attack these siege engineers. You think they aren't very threatening, because they're not, but these random militia and crossbowmen can injure your cavalry units, so that actually becomes a big problem later on. But here you'll get a mangonel, a ram, and 6 villagers. And from here, we'll be launching our conquests, but I'll just go through that as I show you guys my best run I got. Here is Qin with their bajillion blacksmiths that they will use to construct the wonder, but we don't really have to worry about them doing that because we will be winning before they're able to build the wonder. But they have a huge walled city over here on an island to the east of the map, so we're going to be building up on this island from the very beginning. And just to let you guys know, every single one of your enemies, well, the important ones, the engineers don't really count, but of the 4 main enemies you have, they resign once they have 0 town centers, or you just destroy their 1 town center, but they do rebuild. But if they have 0 town centers and less than 4 villagers, then they resign. So nothing else matters. You can have them still with castles remaining, military, whatever. But yeah, Jin, huge, huge, huge fortified base over here to the east. We have the Great Wall of China, which we don't really need to worry about all that much. The Tongguts are going to be here in the middle of the map. They're going to be the first ones we take out because they are pretty weak, I guess. They do have a bunch of archers and some scorpions and some rams, but they only have the 1 archery range and 1 siege workshop, so once you take these 2 buildings down, they really don't put up much of a fight anymore, but they do like to run units everywhere and build random buildings, which just delays things a lot. So yeah, that's a little annoying. They do make some monks as well, so be careful for that. Xixia is over here on a plateau. We really don't need to worry about them too much just because the way that we play this, we're going to build a castle right here, and then they're just going to throw all their units into the castle, and then we just like snipe random villagers and stuff, so they aren't too much of a threat either. And finally, Song over here to the southwest of the map doesn't really start with a whole lot, but they will be building up plenty of stuff. In due course, mostly archer units that we will need to destroy with bombard cannons, which are also right here and an integral part to this scenario. So yeah, I've already talked long enough. Let's just get right into this. Okay, so here we are. And my time is going to be a little over 30 minutes game time. So yeah, that's a speed run, technically. This is the single longest speed run of any of the original Age of Kings, Age of Conquerors campaigns, I believe. Anyway, we're going to be shipping everyone on over here, nice and quick. Nice and quick, Ornlu. Yeah, this is far from a perfect run, but the biggest hurdle is going to be something completely out of our control, which I'll get to in a little bit. Anyway, we're going to do our very best to minimize our losses as we send our transport ship over around the little river here. And just make sure that we can take out the engineer army, just because, well, we kind of need to, because otherwise they'll just be shooting at us for free. Doesn't really matter how you do it, just try to minimize your HP losses. And now we're going to be sending everyone over to this peninsula. Keep 2 villagers at home, and then send 4 villagers and a ram, and that number is just because you need to send over the ram, and then it's just as many villagers will fit in the transport ship. Then we will be building 4 houses and a dock over here with our 2 remaining villagers. And we will be sending the 4 vills plus ram over there. Then we're going to be sending the transport back, and our transport time is very important. If I can make the right building. Our transport time is very important. There we go, me. Also putting our units on defensive stance so they don't run away. building a market over there, and a blacksmith over there, and a town center over there, doing all that good stuff, making, I'll be making a few fishing ships, and they're going to be really important for just what little food eco we have. And then we will be sending our transport all the way over, using our villagers to gather from the shorefish, because you can do that now. And we'll just be depositing them off somewhere over there. It doesn't really matter the specific location, so long as you're not running into the Great Wall Towers. So the ram is going this way, and this part is the single most frustrating part of this scenario because it's pure RNG. Also, you have like an 80% chance of it to fail, and you just have to start over instantly. And that is going to be entirely based on if Jin has a Chukonyu hanging around there. If they don't, then you're good, and if they do, you kind of pretty much have to start over. At least most of the time. It's really, really hard. Because you already will have these 2 towers shooting at you. And you're going to need to knock down that wall. And if you have the Chukonyu shooting at you as well, then, well, it's just too many resources to repair. And it just makes your life way too hard, and it's just, okay, might as well just try again. Anyway, grabbing fletching, we buy 100 food and 100 wood. And this is just kind of the strategy I developed. I took some inspiration off of what ChazB did, who has the record, and then I just kind of have my own little adjustments that I make. But you can see here that there are no Chukonyu, so we can actually play the video game. And now, at this moment, Tonguts will be sending out their first army, so you can just jump those guys super easily, and then take them out. Also, they'll have anywhere between like 3 and 6 villagers on that lumber camp. We just happen to have 3 this time, it doesn't matter too much, but you can pick them off, and then you will bravely run away towards the bombard cannons. Because you don't actually want to take a fair fight, because you really can't lose any of those units. Or at least you need to minimize that. Anyway, we are about to hit Castle Age, going to send our villagers on over. And go to the bombard cannons, because they will be the backbone of our army. They do start on a no attack stance, so be careful about that. Anyway, once we have punctured a hole in the wall, we're going to go ahead and send those villagers in, and they will be building us a castle. Against which Jin will just continuously throw their units, because that's how you play Age of Empires. Make sure we still have our ram to tank shots, and then repair him as needed. Again, guys, at any point, Jin can just send a Chukonyu over, and then you just instantly have to restart. It's really one of the most frustrating experiences I have had in speedrunnings to this date. Like, at least 80% of my runs have ended like this. Also, one of those Chukonyu can end up attacking your villagers, and then you lose anyway. But in this particular run, along with like a few others I've gotten, we've actually been able to complete the castle. And we're going to push on forward. They just have the 1 siege workshop and archery range like I showed you earlier. So once we take those out, they aren't much of a threat. Oh yeah, they do have a stable, but I don't think they really make anything out of it. Just make sure we don't lose things to rams and whatnot. Put our own ram on attack stance, speaking of which, and take out the rest of those towers. Make sure the ram does not die, because if the ram dies, you pretty much lose, because you can't gather gold. Because that's one of the reasons we're dropping the castle there, is because there's a gold mine right there that we need to take. There's just a lot to this scenario. Anyway, we will be building 5 petards in that castle, and then several mangudai. Just kind of as many as we can. And like I said, so the enemies resign once they have fewer than 4 villagers and no town centers. And since each of them have 1 town center, you just have to destroy that 1 town center. Although they will, I think all of them rebuild town centers, so you have to be careful. Anyway, that is at pretty good HP, so I just decide, okay, let's go ahead and start mining some gold. Sniping villagers, doing our thing. I mean, they do make plenty of villagers, so you do have to be pretty careful. Just to make sure you don't have any stragglers. Like, most of, I guess, the optimization, you could say, in this scenario is just killing as many villagers as quickly as possible and preventing vills from escaping, because you can easily spend like 6-7 minutes just hunting down random stray villagers that they like to have scattered all over the place. So we are trying to minimize that. We did grab fletching and bodkin as soon as we can. Setting most of those vills on wood, grabbing a lumber camp so we can get double bit axe. It's really the only eco upgrade we end up getting. Then we'll be sending everyone over that way. Send our mangonel over and our 2 villagers once that 1 shore fish is depleted. And of course I'm waiting to get wood to build a town center on that stone mine because we will be dropping a second castle onto Xixia, like I said. Use the market just a little bit. There we go. And then we will be rotating that way to the left, I guess, towards Song. Have that mangonel. Kill a random villager, because there's a lot of those guys. Castle will be taking out a few villagers, but Jin has a whole bunch because they build that wonder. But not in this case, because we killed him too fast. Anyway, our eco is still pretty potato, so we are slowly building up Mangudai and petards over in that castle. And really, it's only once we... Like, Jin is usually the last one you take out, even though they're the first ones you start attacking, I guess, if that makes sense. Just because they require a lot of setup to be killed. Because they're pretty powerful. Anyway, just sending everyone over this way. And Song is actually pretty annoying because if you don't have a bunch of units left of your starting light cav and cav archers, then it's going to be kind of a nightmare to deal with them. Because they just have a bunch of random crossbows and skirmishers and a couple monks and stuff. And they just, you know, like to do some AI micro shenaniganry, and they can end up taking out a lot of your bombard cannons. But we get some pretty good hits here. You know, we get the job done. And then once they have just like, you know, 3 or 4 units left or something like that, you can really just start to send in your regular army and they'll just mop everything else up. There's double bit axe. We do end up losing a few units here and there, but that's just kind of unavoidable. Not really a whole lot you can do to stop that. You just general wear and tear of your army. But we'll just use our bombard cannons and they'll snipe all those watchtowers because they're annoying. And then we'll use the rest of our units to snipe these stray crossbowmen as they are constructed. Also, sometimes there's like a monk or 2, but not too much of an issue. You have light cav. Take down the watchtower, and they only have the 1 archery range from which they build those annoying crossbowmen. So that is all good in the proverbial hood. Start petard production as well. Grab a university because ballistics is good. And continue on the warpath here. Now, Sung is the most annoying when it comes to random villagers running around. They will get really buggy sometimes and end up in the northwest of the map by those where you get the bombard cannons, or over by the Great Wall right next to the ocean, kind of near our town center. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Oh yeah, I lose our the ram here. That's a big fail because you kind of need the ram to take down one of the gates of Jin in a little bit. I end up rebuilding the siege workshop, but that's definitely something that slowed me down a little bit. Anyway, just trying to snipe as many villagers as we can. Tongut's now resigning because we killed one of their villagers somewhere with something. Not too sure exactly, doesn't really matter, just so long as the job gets done. And the reason that we're kind of dawdling in Song, just picking off stray villagers, is because we can't really go after Xixia with our cannons until we complete the castle. And to complete the castle, we need to have stone, of which I have actually done a very poor job of making sure that the town center that is on the stone is the one producing villagers, because now I have an excess of wood and not enough stone, so that's definitely something that can be done to optimize this, but considering that you only get like a few decent runs with every 60 or so you try, I mean, you gotta take what you can get, just because like that one Chuko new man. You can see through the fog of war where the deer have died, and usually it's hunters that end up being the most annoying ones. Anyway, sending those villagers over, and they will be building a castle. Just kind of waiting over there with our bombard cannons. You can see that all those vills are right there, derping out in the corner of the map, so you definitely want to check there as one of the first places you go to. And once you have exactly 5 petards and whatever Mangudai you can muster, here I realize, okay, I need to get a siege workshop and another battering ram. So I just send one of the vills over, and then of course the knight tries to snipe the villager, so that delays me a little bit more, just because Jin likes to be super duper annoying. But nevertheless, we push onward. Make sure we don't run into the town center. And that also was a little bit of delay I did not need to have. But we will be building the castle right there. And kaboom! The castle, or the town center rather, doesn't usually go down. Sometimes it does. I don't know why it's inconsistent like that. But either it's destroyed. Ah, there goes Song. Either the town center is destroyed, or it has, I think, 65 HP left, so you can actually just use your Magudai to take down the rest of that. It's really not a big deal. And you can see that gate right there on your screen. That is the one that we needed the ram for, and now we need to build another one, because we lost it like buffoons. Also getting other relevant Magudai upgrades. And once that castle is finished, we'll send in our other siege units over here, and they can actually snipe the town center of Xixia from the bottom of the cliff, which is pretty useful. Yeah, Magudai taking out that town center, and getting everyone back to work and all that good stuff. And the castle is now going to do most of our work for us against Xixia, as they'll just run their entire army as well as a lot of their villagers into it. We don't have murder holes, but for any melee units, I mean, not that anything does a ton of damage to you anyway. Yeah, you can just jump Magudai out of the castle. Anyway, I think we lose all of our cav archers there to some random naval units of Jin. Yeah, I can see it on the minimap, yeah. We definitely shouldn't have lost those guys. I was trying to flank to the south of Xixia. That way we could kill some villagers they have in a lumber camp, but didn't realize that the Jin Navy was right there. Just getting various upgrades. And you can kind of camp a few specific areas in Jin space. It can be a lot of random villagers you need to take out, but unlike Sung or even Tonguts, they're a lot more predictable in where they will be. But they just have a lot of them, so you kind of have to get going. Yeah, you can see I'm just luring out the scout with the Magudai. And yeah, you can see how much time is being wasted right there. If there wasn't that Chukonu, I probably could get a much, much closer time, but that one Chukonu that you never end up even seeing because I don't show you guys all the runs that I screw up. But that one Chukonu, man, the bane of my existence. And of course, losing random Magudai because we're super good at this game. But you can see that we're just doing everything we can to avoid Xixia's castle, because we don't need to destroy it, and we don't really want to spend the time and energy doing so, because we don't have to destroy it. Anyway, Jin will have a bunch of resources and mining camps and villagers to the south of their base, so you're just going to be bouncing your Magudai back and forth. There goes Xixia. Again, just dying to our random units. And we're finally going to be wrapping this up. And we just need to take out whatever is left of Jin. You just have a few villagers somewhere like mining stone. There is a little bit of gold like right inside their walls. Maybe I end up checking that. I don't remember. I've done this scenario a lot. But then I realized, oh, never mind. They're already deleting stuff. We are good to go. And it just takes a little while to actually finish deleting stuff because I don't know. So I'm just kind of hanging out here. Living life. And there goes Jin, and we are victorious. 30:55 is our time. So that is Into China, everybody. Yeah, that one is really, really hard. So if you have a lot of determination, you can go and try it yourself. I did get, I think, the second best world record, but it's still like a few minutes off. We'll see about that. We already did the Horde Rides West, remember. We actually do have the world record for that one. And next up will be The Promise. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.